Greetings and welcome. Dr. Scott here at your service. Wanted to provide an introductory video to Sharpen. Great tool built into McGraw Hill's Connect. And let me explain how that will assist you as an AI assistant. We've had some videos already on artificial intelligence using things like ChatGPT's study and learn mode. And there's also a mode that's available through Gemini called guided learning. And that is very similar, where it goes in and will provide flashcards, quizzes. You can query it. You can give it a problem. It'll use what's called the Socratic method of questioning. It usually doesn't give you a direct answer to a problem, question, it's exercise, but it'll help you process through that. We also have had a video on Notebook LM, and if you haven't seen those videos, they're on my YouTube channel as well as in most of my courses. So the Notebook LM, what's nice about that is that Gemini is a Google Gemini base as well, but it's a captive audience. So it'll only take the file, the PDF files you give it, the text files you give it, things you type into it, or cut and paste, MP4s, YouTube videos, any other resources you provide, even your own handwritten notes that you submit, and it will answer questions as a captive audience. It won't go outside the realm of a large language model like Gemini and ChatGPT would and those other features, but it's kind of a captive audience and says, "Oh, what's the Detroit Lions score?" It'll say, "I don't know. You didn't give me that data." Where those other LLMs will give you a score, might hallucinate, might make one up. It may just be giving you real scores. Who knows? But what's nice about Notebook LM is a captive audience. What's powerful about McGraw-Hill Sharpen is that it actually is tied to your textbook. So you can ask it a question. You know what? I've got an exam on chapters 1 through 4 coming up. Can you help me out? Okay, it knows what's in chapters 1 through 4. So let's go live, and rather than explain it, let's go and take a look directly and see what's Sharpen. And we'll go through some of the features, some of the functions, and some of the setup to go with that. All right, so I'm going to go in now, and you'll see that you're in McGraw-Hill Connect. We really can't access it directly through the LMS gracefully, so I encourage you to go directly into McGraw-Hill Connect. We'll scroll down. You've got the book here on the left that you can read. By the way, the resources in there, usually there's built-in quizzes, outlines, course objectives, all those good readings and materials. But here we go, we're going to open Sharpen. And when we go into Sharpen, if you have Sharpen assignments, which I have in virtually all my classes now, those Sharpen assignments are going in and saying, "Oh, there's chapter 1 stuff, there's some chapter 2 stuff." I'm going to leave it at that. But there's 3 options here under playlists. Let's look at that down arrow. There's settings, there's improve and general study, and there's playlists. Those are the actual exercises assigned. Let's do a quick look at settings. There's my details, Dr. Scott Dell. You have access to Sharpen Plus. My school has it. We've had it since September 29, 27. Cool. I'm studying. You can edit that. I'd encourage filling this out. Bachelor's, associates, or just having fun. All the above. I don't think you can do it all the above. I'm in, say, in my second year. And what do you want to do with it? Well, I want to improve my study skills and focus. I want to understand the basics. Maybe prepare for an exam. I want to check that box. Feel more confident in the classroom. I'd love if you come prepared to the classroom with that, and you'd be more on the ball, I'm sure. You can set weekly learning goals. How much a week are you going to use? 10, 20, 30 minutes. You might want to start with 10 or 20 just to get oriented. And if you like it, you find, hey, this is better than reading a book. I'm not going to say it's a substitute, but it is another tool in your toolbox. You can add milestones, notifications, keep you on track, and then some of your account information. So I'm going to go back to that upper left-hand corner. I'm going to go into improve. Now, improve, like I said, there were some previous assignments here. There's all the chapters in the textbook. And you say, I want to improve that adjusting journal entries. Chapter 3 it's beating me up. So improves, it's going to start, it's going to test your knowledge and what you learn, identify recording entries, prepare financial statements, profit margin, alternative accounting methods, prepaids, and it gives a test. Once it gives a test, you can work with it. But I'm going to go past this. I'm going to go back previous screen and need not to improve mode, but let's go to the playlist. And the playlist has a couple of things. As I said, it has all your assignments that you already have assigned by the instructor, if there are any. But what I'm going to go back to the top, what can I help you with? And remember, Sharpen uses many third-party generative AI services, generates content from external sources not controlled by Sharpen. It's not review. It's just a general disclaimer. And it can make mistakes. It can hallucinate. It can make stuff up. It can lie. Be careful. But then it introduces you to Dot. Now, some of you may have heard of something called Clippy, a little clip that Microsoft used to have, a little assistant, a little paperclip assistant that was pretty annoying, actually. Not real helpful. They discontinued it. But I actually like Dot. I think Dot's pretty powerful. I'm Dot, your AI assistant. Here are some examples of things I can help you with. Okay, teach me about accounting and business. I'll find you videos and explain concepts. Test me analyzing and recording transactions. I'll make you a quiz. I'll make you flashcards. How am I doing? It'll analyze your project progress, ask you some questions. What should I study next? Summarize chapter 4. These are all questions you can ask and it should answer. So preparing for exam on chapters 1 through 4. Please help me. Nice to your AI. Please and thank you. All right. Which chapter feels the most challenging right now? Can help you understand, memorize, test your knowledge, can ask questions. That's why I'm here. Here. Can you give me a 4-question quiz to see what I might know or need help on? Okay, help me out here. Help me test me, assess what I know. All right, let me create a quiz, chapters 1 through 4, Fundamental Accounting Principles textbook to help you check your understanding. Here's a quiz to check your understanding from Sharpen. All right, so let's go for the quiz. All right, thank you. I want a quiz. Here's a quiz. Where's my quiz? Okay, I want a 4-question quiz. All right, so let's go for it. Sharpen hasn't verified the information. Okay, why is it freezing up on me? 20 left. No, I don't want all those questions. I want a 4-quick question quiz. Help me out here. All right, you tell me, where's the quiz? Here to get you started with testing materials. Let me know if you'd like to focus on a particular chapter. First 4 chapters. Again, I got persistent. This would be 4 questions. Okay. I'll create a quiz. You told me you were going to do that before. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay, there we go. I've got a quiz now. So sometimes you need to be persistent. Using the table below, select the qualitative characteristics with the appropriate description. Qualitative characteristics. We got, okay, we're not quantitative, but qualitative. So verifiable, is it comparable? It's asking to one of these questions is the answer that we're looking for. Relevant, faithful representation. So we're looking, relevant information must be measured and comparable. That sounds quantifiable. Not a good match. Faithful representation must be complete, neutral, and free from error. Comparability, users must comprehend the accounting note. Verified must be useful for decision making. That's not verifiability. That's a difference. I think faithful representation must be complete, neutral, and free from error. All right, let's go check that answer. Bingo. We're good on that one. Let's go one step. Which of the following are the 2 fundamental qualitative characteristics in accounting? Fundamental qualitative characteristics: cost effective and relevance. That's not qualitative. Relevance and faithful representation, qualitative. Comparable and understandable, qualitative. Material and faithful representation. Well, materiality is actually a quantitative, not qualitative. So we narrow it down and say, oh, do you think it's going to be relevance and faithful representation, qualitative characteristics, or comparability and understandability? I'm going to go with the second and see what it says. And we're going to check our answer and see if we get it right. Okay, so far so good. Let's see if we get something wrong. Accounting principles vary from country to country. That's true. That's an IFRS versus GAAP. We know that pretty well. Okay, and then it's explaining. You're preparing the balance sheet for December 20. What financial statement would you pull the missing information from? Okay, and we're looking here. Missing information. What's missing here? Oh, retained earnings is missing. No. Now, I think it might be the statement of retained earnings. Let's see if we give it a different answer and see what it does. Let's try the balance sheet. Let's check our answer. Oops, nope, that's not right. Oh, statement of retained earnings. Statement of earnings is pulled from the retained earnings statement, statement of retained earnings. Well, that actually makes a lot of sense. And we'll go back and they got the explanation and it's loading back. Okay, so from Sharpen, I'm here to give you a 4-question quiz. We already did that. We'll scroll back down towards the bottom. Help me memorize. How am I doing? Okay. So let's go of what else? Help me with adjusting journal entries. So that always gets confusing because there's so many accounts I got to worry about. And then it says I can test your knowledge. I got 20 of those questions. I don't want to do 20 questions right now. High level understanding, memorize flashcards, learn key terms. Well, let's go in and take a look at flashcards. See what it's got for flashcards. Adjusting the entries purpose. What is the purpose of adjusting entries? Make adjustments, I thought. Ensure financial statements reflect accurate revenues and expenses by updating accounts for events not yet recorded, like accrued expenses or prepaid items. So things that aren't recorded yet, and we got to get the income statement, revenues, expenses, and the balance sheet in sync. Okay, that makes sense. I got it. Keep going. Timing of adjusting entries. When do you think we do those? Middle of the period, end of the period? Let's see. Made at the end of an accounting period before preparing financial statements. All right, so these are reminders that are telling us there's a whole bunch on here, and you say accrued expenses adjustment. Let's go a little deeper dive on that thing. Accrued expense adjustment, let's flip the card. Record unpaid expenses by debiting the expense. Okay, we debit expenses, we know that. And crediting the liability. So one from the balance sheet, one from the income statement. Not cash, but we're good to go, such as accrued expenses. Ensures the expenses are recognized in the current period. Okay, that's the logic there. That makes sense. Got that one. Unearned revenue. Let's see what it says about unearned revenue. Portion of previously received cash from liability. So we were an airline and we got an unearned revenue, and now we earned it. The plane took off and landed. By debiting the unearned revenue, that's a liability, and crediting the revenue. Okay. I guess I do understand those, and hopefully you do too. Let's go back a little bit more. Let's see what other things it's going to let us do. Ask a follow-up. Can you give me a 3-question quiz on adjusting journal entries? Again, you can use what it has. You're going to earn badges. And when you complete things, it kind of gamifies things and makes things a little bit easier. But I just asked a follow-up, and let's see what it'll do. Scroll down. There we go. 3-question quiz. Test your knowledge. It's going to test me on AJEs. I had to scroll down to get there. We're in adjusting journal entry to adjust accrued expenses. Accrued expenses. We have an accrual for an expense that we're estimating. Accrual is an estimate. So that's a liability. And we are going to adjust the expense on the income statement. We'll debit the expense, credit the liability. So we're going to increase the liability. We know that. And we're going to increase an expense. So if I do that analysis, the only one that increases liability and increases expense is right there. Let's see if that's right. Oh, how about that? We're good. We're pretty good at doing this stuff. Adjusting journal entries are posted to the appropriate account in the general ledger, general journal, financial statements, notes. Well, it's actually sometimes a sales journal or cash receipts journal. In this case, I think we're talking the general journal. Let's see if that checks out. I think I know my accounting. I'm glad you do too. Yep, adjustments entries are posted to the general journal, not the general journal, but the general ledger to go with that. Finally, what's the purpose of adjusting entries in accrual-based accounting? So what are we doing here? Let's give it a wrong answer. Let's see if we can guess. We can roll a pencil, pick an answer to manipulate the company's financial statements. And it does manipulate them, changes them. Decrease overall expenses. Nah, sometimes you increase, sometimes you decrease. Increase revenue. Yeah, sometimes you increase, sometimes you decrease. Correct timing difference in a company's assets and liabilities. I like that last one, but I'm going to say, listen, it must be manipulative and manipulate the financial statements. Check the answer. Nope. Manipulating company financial is not the purpose of adjusting entries. They are used to correct timing differences. So it is all about timing. End of period adjustments. Adjusting entries in accrual-based accounting are used to correct timing differences in a company's assets and liabilities done to ensure that revenue expenses are recognized in the proper period they occur, not when cash is received or paid. Again, it's not a cash entry, it's a GAAP thing and an accrual accounting thing. So there we go. Bottom line, that is Sharpen. And I wanted you to get a feel and an understanding for how Sharpen works and give you a chance to experiment with it. It should help you prepare greatly for your exams. I'd also encourage you to use the Gemini, the Chat GPTs, and the Notebook LMs of the world to help make a difference. Give that a try and see if that will help you where you want to go.